How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk about stocks and focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. We also got to put in the disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor, and this isn't financial advice. So just know when you do invest, you're doing it at your own risk. So today we're going to be talking about NNDM, Nano Dimensions. You guys know how bullish I am about this stock. So what we're going to be going over today is the agenda. I do this for all my videos, and they also come with timestamps down below. So the first thing that we're going to be covering is an article, and you know what? It does a great job explaining about the DeepCube acquisition that was made, which was a machine learning and deep learning company. A lot of people ask me, okay, so why was it even big that they were able to acquire DeepCube or even Nano Fabrica for that point? I did a video on that, but I'm going to go into more details, and I feel like this article will give you even a much more better understanding of how these acquisitions work well for the long term. Then after we cover that, we're going to be doing a technical analysis. Many of you will ask me, hey, what is a good price to actually buy NNDM at? Or if it pulls back, what should I be looking out for? I know a lot of you, just like myself, are always looking for a deal, so I highly suggest you watch that portion. Also, on top of that, when you see those strong moves and price actions, it also does open up some swing trade opportunities as well, and by looking at the charts, it can help you with that. Also, we're going to be doing as far as checking out Fintel in regards to short interest information and as well recent institutional buys. We want to see, hey, what is the overall activity among institutions in regards to NNDM stock? And also taking a look at the short interest, we want to know short squeeze potential. Why is this important? It kind of dictates and shows us what type of moves we could see in overall price action. And then after all of that is done, I'll be giving you guys my final thoughts. Like I do on this channel, I want to make sure when you watch my videos, you get a lot of value, and it will help you with you doing your own homework and your own due diligence. Let's get into it. So we're going to be going over this recent article that came out for NNDM, and it's actually talking about the acquisition and why I feel it really does help the stock. I know many of you have been asking me about this. I did a video on it recently, but I feel like this article does a great job explaining it. So let's get into it. So deep learning business acquisition makes nanodimension a strong buy. NNDM stock is now more compelling as nanodimensions makes its 3D printers even smarter. As I see it, there's a major bargain in the market right now. Shares of Israeli 3D printing firm Nanodimension stock are trading at a discount, and there's an exciting acquisition that ought to get investors excited. Don't get me wrong, the share price did move higher when investors learned about the acquisition. Nonetheless, the stock is far below its peak price. Some folks might not like Nanodimension's aggressive pursuit of acquisitions, and it is true that acquiring businesses is an expensive strategy. I'll leave it to you to decide whether the company's most recent merger is worth the cost. And in the final analysis, you might agree with me that the stock won't trade at a reduced price point for much longer. A closer look at NNDM stock. It may be hard to imagine this now, but 12 months ago, NNDM stock traded for less than $1, starting in September of 2020. However, the stock went on a wild ride. The short sellers were badly bruised as the share price climbed relentlessly throughout the remainder of 2020. This rally culminated in a 52-week high of $17.89 reached on February 9, 2021. In hindsight, we could see how this move to the upside was probably overdone. Thus, NNDM stock retraced downwards, even falling below $7 in April. Shares are now trading at about $8. A turnaround and a retest of the $18 level could happen this year, though the bulls should watch for the $12 and $15 levels first. A growth industry. Some of today's market traders don't seem to appreciate how quickly the 3D printer industry will expand in the coming year. Market research and consulting firm NNDM Intelligence expects the global 3D printed electronics market to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 39.5% during the forecast period of 2020 to 2027. When listing some of the key players in the 3D printed electronics market, NNDM Intelligence mentioned Nanodimensions first. That doesn't surprise me, as Nanodimensions is an early and aggressive competitor in this niche market. Author Eric Wise asserts that nanodimension is focused more specifically on 3D additive manufacturing, which has a smaller expected compound annual growth rate of 24% for the next decade. That might be true, but I don't see it as a major problem. A compound annual growth rate of 24% is still quite impressive, and if this is projected for the next decade, then nanodimension's investors should look forward to multiple years of consistent returns. Perhaps ARK Invest Management CEO Kathy Wood had the 3D printing industry's hyper-growth potential in mind when she announced earlier this year that she was backing an NNDM stock. And the last time I checked, nanodimension was the 19th largest holding of the ARK Autonomous Technology and Robotics ETF. Delving into deep learning, nanodimension's 3D printers were already smart, but due to a recent acquisition, they're going to be even smarter. According to a press release, nanodimensions agreed to acquire DeepCube Limited. That company specializes in machine learning and deep learning technology. As per the agreement, nanodimensions will pay the shareholders of DeepCube approximately $40 million in cash and $30 million in American Depository Shares, ADSs, of nanodimensions. That's a hefty price, I'll admit. Yet, now nanodimensions will have access to DeepCube's patented algorithms and game-changing machine learning and deep learning technology. Besides, nanodimensions should be able to afford this purchase. Reportedly, the company has $671 million in cash and equivalents as of December 31st, 2020. The bottom line, in the final analysis, the DeepCube acquisition sets nanodimension up as an early mover in the machine learning and deep learning enabled 3D printing technology. This should boost NNDM stock investors' confidence as a powerful share price turnaround could be just around the corner. That's what I wanted to share with you guys. I feel this is a great article and it makes a lot of sense why NNDM did the acquisitions that they made, and I feel like it will definitely help out investors in the long term. NNDM nanodimension. So let's take a look at how it closed on Friday. So it closed today at $7.34, being down 4.80% on the day. We test on the low here at $7.28 and then on the high at $7.81. So one of the things I want you guys to realize right away is where we have areas of support. So we definitely have an area of support right here at this $7 level, and we also have an area of support here right around the $6.60, $6.50 area. If we end up actually testing these particular areas, especially if you look at nanodimensions long term, I feel this is a great opportunity. But even at 7, that's not too bad either, because you're going to be good 5 years from now. But even if you're looking for a swing trade opportunity, I feel like this is also a great area to add, and especially here at $7. We could also take a look over here at the RSI. It has definitely been oversold here right at this 34 level, and hey, that's what I'm saying. This is a big opportunity here. Another thing to understand, we do have a clear area of resistance right here at this $8 level. We were able to actually push past it when we had that acquisition news, as you can see, and this is part of the reasons why we cover the short interest information on this channel, because when the short interest is high and we have a lot of buying pressure, we have moves like this because shorts need to cover, right? So just taking that into consideration, this is why it's great, and a lot of traders are actually in this stock. But since I am long term, what I want to see from NNDM before the end of the year is making this move to $10. If it can actually make this move to $10 and have some consolidation and some support, we can easily get to the $11 area, and there we'd have to actually build up some support there, because this would be an area of resistance. But if we're able to actually get past this, then it definitely starts looking bullish, especially after we get past 11.50. But again, we have to come back to reclaiming the 200 here at 9. But as far as what I'm looking for at the end of May, I want us to be comfortable around that $8 level, and then going into June, would love to see 9. Of course, we know NNDM has a lot of things going on behind the scenes, so we could definitely look forward to seeing that kind of price action. So we're on fintel.io, and we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership for NNDM, and as well as the short interest information. So as we scroll down on the page, green rows indicate new positions, while red rows indicate closed positions. So as we can see here, especially taking into consideration the month of April, we have many institutions that have opened up new positions. In regards to institutions who have been closing up their positions, we have a total of 8, and this is just for the month of April. So for the most part, institutions are still looking bullish on NNDM because if we compare the two, more have opened up new positions, which still looks really good. The reason why this information is important because we know institutions are not going to invest in a stock if they do not see a return on their investment. So as we take a look at the short interest information, we can see the short volume ratio stands here at 24%. So this definitely has some short squeeze potential because as we know, anything above 21% gives us that opportunity. So that's one thing I want you guys to take into consideration. As we scroll down on the page, as far as short shares availability, it stands at 1.9 million. And as far as the short ball free rate, stands at 1.20%. So it's not that bad at all. But if we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we definitely see a recent trend here, especially from April the 26th. We've been above 21%, even getting to 32% here back on April the 27th. So these are some things to take into consideration, and I want you guys to also realize. So if we end up getting some more news, because we know NNDM is definitely on an expansion path in regards to acquisitions and so forth, then we could see some more moves in price action like we saw when they had the recent acquisitions, how the price was actually moving. So for my final thoughts for NNDM Nano Dimensions, I definitely like how the future is looking. I was telling you guys in the technical analysis, as far as my cost average, it's in the $6.70 range, $6.75 to be exact. So if it does pull back further to $7, I see a big time opportunity. And if you can get them below $7, even better. Before the end of the year, I do see NNDM getting to $10, but also if it goes to $12, I would not be surprised. The same sentiments are also shared within the article as well. We know there's a lot of volatility inside the market, and I do know that NNDM stock is still below $10. I've said that in previous older videos, especially when the price was higher than it is currently. Another thing to understand on the fact end adds to a lot of conviction, we're seeing a lot of institutions having positions in NNDM as well. We also do know, most notably, Kathy Woods from ARK Invest is definitely heavily invested in NNDM, and she sees the future prospects. But outside of that, these acquisitions are actually huge in regards to DeepCube and as well as Nano. It will help improve the overall performance of the Dragonfly system. And here's how. By incorporating deep learning and machine learning, they can continue to have advancements in that Dragonfly system. And then in regards to Nano that focuses on 3D microprinting, they'll be able to get the product down to great detail. And this is very crucial, despite the fact that many investors and a lot of traders are not noticing this, because of course, if you don't see the long-term potential like someone else will, then you're going to be seeing a lot of volatility inside the stock. But taking that into consideration, as far as advancements that they're trying to make to solidify themselves as leaders, I feel is amazing to see. So if you are thinking about getting into a position in regards to NNDM for the long term, of course, I do see some upside. We already know they're in a growing industry. This is also a growth stock, so it is going to be coming with volatility. I would highly suggest if you have, let's say, for example, a target of 3 to 5 years for holding this stock, it's one of those things you just buy and then you just forget about it. Yes, I know what you're saying, it's under $10. It's in that penny stock category, but I'm telling you right now, this is a company, they have a lot of cash on hand, had about, like, I think it was about 1.5 billion. They're already doing what they need to do as far as growing the company. And like I said, we may not immediately see that being reflected on the balance sheet in regards to earnings, but when we think about the future going forward, 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the impact this will have on overall for NNDM and as well for the Dragonfly system. And we already know already they are not slowing down and they're going to be looking for more opportunities as well. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.